I am honored to introduce our speaker today. Tom Jurich, Vice President, Director of Athletics, the University of Louisville, is considered to be at the pinnacle of his profession, the best of the best. He's been the right man at the right time for the University of Louisville. His accomplishments are many, too many to even mention. All of UofL's intercollegiate programs are extremely important to Tom. He wants them all to have the very best facilities, the very best student athletes, the very best coaches and staff. Winning bowl games, conference titles, and national championships are events of great pride to Tom, but he's particularly proud with the progress and success of the women's programs and those teams that are referred to as the Olympic sports. He is also extremely pleased by the academic achievement of all his student athletes. In the past 16 years, Tom's accomplishments in the area of intercollegiate athletics are unparalleled at any college or university anywhere. There is no university that would not cherish having him as the head of their program. Tom is a unique individual, leader, and educator, a wonderful family man, a great husband, father of 4, grandfather of 2. He has the ability to think big, think strategically, and think in superlatives. He has remarkable vision for what he wants to accomplish and the uncanny ability to articulate that vision to others. For Tom, everything is possible. The impossible just takes a little bit longer. His drive, devotion, and energy keep him striving for perfection. Tom possesses what I consider to be the rarest of all human traits. You're all wondering what that is? He has the unique ability to make things happen. Fellow Rotarians and guests, I'm pleased to present my friend and former colleague, Tom Jurich.
Thank you, Dr. Rothwell, and certainly I appreciate those wonderful words and that. And as you all know, there's nobody that's going to stand up in front of you and say that I did this and I did that. It's because there's such a great team that I have around me. And my late father always told me, you always hire people that are much better than you, and I think I've been able to follow him to a T. And that's how I think we built it. First of all, I want to speak on behalf of Jenny Sawyer, Dr. Ramsey, and Shirley Williams. And thank you again for that wonderful scholarship. And that's a great opportunity for wonderful young people around this region, and what a great generosity by this club to do something that special, and I promise you it'll be money put to good use. I see so many of my friends in this room and so many people that I just say wow, because for 16 years these are the people that have made this athletic program go and become what it is today. So many of you, just look at around all these tables, have your fingerprints on everything that we've done, and I say that with compassion. And it's such a wonderful institution, but most importantly, it's such a wonderful community to be in and to be able to represent, and to see the type of people that we've been able to assemble, that have bought into our vision, that have bought into our mission, that have stayed, most importantly, followed our guidelines of class and integrity, and staying humble and hungry. Those are words that we live by and we preach every day. I know our staff is sick and tired of hearing me say that. It is so important, I think, that we do have integrity. It's important that we follow the rules. It's important that we do things by the book. But most importantly, to you all, it's important that we go out and recruit the best student athletes we can, looking at their character first, athletic ability second. And I think that's when we'll be able to do it. There's so many championships that we've won over the last 16 years that I attribute not to the best talent on the field, on the floor, on the courts, in the pool, on the golf course, but what I do attribute to is chemistry. And I think last year's men's basketball team was a perfect example of that. I don't believe that was the best team in the country. I think there was other teams that were much more talented than our men's team. But I don't think any team had the chemistry that we did. And the best example I can give all of you is what happened to Kevin Ware and how that galvanized this program. And so I stand before you very humbled and very thankful again to your wonderful kind words, because I do not accept that as on me. That's on behalf of the department that have accomplished all this. It's been a wonderful year. We know that. But one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to ever look at that year and say, well, we set the bar. We're gonna not to ever be able to do this again. What we want to do in our department is we want to say, how are we going to get better? You know, last year happened, it's over. You know, people have always asked me, have you reflected on it? No, I'll reflect on it when I retire. You know, there was some great accomplishments, there's no question about it, but there's a lot of areas we can get better. And we do not have one coach on our staff of all those 23 sports that does not believe they can be a better team or a program this year than they were last year. And that's the fighting spirit that I want in that department. I mean, you can go to Coach Patino, he thinks he's going to have a better team. Will he win a national title? There's so many things that come into play on that. You know, injuries, luck, you know, a lot of things the ball has to bounce the right way. But we're certainly going to be in the conversation in all the sports. Charlie would tell you the same thing. Dan McDonald, Jeff Walls. It's remarkable to be able to say that you were able to win the Sugar Bowl. What a great accomplishment that was. But people forget that we were the biggest underdog that's ever won a BCS game. We were a 16.5-point underdog to Florida. Not one person, including myself, gave us a chance. But I know one person that did give us a chance, and he was standing in that locker room prior to that game, and he never wavered one bit, because he told me 2 weeks before the game, 3 weeks before the game, Charlie that is, that if we could get ahead and make them play catch up, he goes, we're going to be fine in this game. I said, great, whatever you believe, Coach, I'm with you. I'm with you. And he's an incredible man. Forget the coaching ability, because he gets A++ for coaching, but he's a much, much better man than he is a coach. And that's something that he's a true treasure to this community. And I'm so proud of what Charlie's done and what he will continue to do. And I just see how he is an unbelievable leader of young men. And most importantly, he's an unbelievable leader of young people, because he spends so much time with our women's athletes. He spends so much time recruiting anybody that our coaches want, whether it's for volleyball or women's golf or track and cross country, women's swimming. He'll help no matter what. I always like to say the story. Courtney Trimble, our women's golf coach, brought in a great recruit. And to hear him talking about the University of Louisville and their golf program, this is a guy that cannot put a ball on a tee. He doesn't even know how to do that. But he could sell our university and sell that sport. And that's the kind of people that we have in the department. I always like to reflect on what a great family that is and what an unbelievable family experience it is. Not only for our administration, we have 286 people in staff, coaching, and administration. We have 780 athletes. So we've got a family of a little bit over 1,000 people that really, I think, have bonded well together and support each other. And I think that's what differentiates us from the rest of this country. We're very unique at the University of Louisville because we have a faculty that works with our athletic department. We have an athletic department that works with our faculty. You don't find that very often. I've been around this country. I've been an AD 29 years. I've been on every national committee you can be on. You don't see that. You usually see this amongst faculty and athletics, not here. And that's a credit to Dr. Ramsey and how he's built this as, quote, one university. Now, Dr. Ramsey's a great friend and a great leader, and he's put superb people around him that have helped develop this entire thing. But the epitome of what we tried to get done, which is a big thank you to all of you for all that you invested in this program and how you believed in us, was being able to get in that ACC and the riches that that's going to bring us. And I don't mean from an athletic standpoint, and I don't mean from a financial standpoint. I mean from an academic standpoint. It's going to allow us to grow this university, I think, beyond everybody's wildest dreams. And I can't wait to get into that league. Hopefully that'll come next September 1 or whenever, July 1, I guess is what the official date would be. But we're looking very, very much forward to that. By saying that, it'd be remiss of me not to mention how much the Big East meant to this community, meant to this state, and meant to our university as we grew. We were able to leave Conference USA and the other conferences that the university was in prior to me, the Great Midwest and Missouri Valley, all those. We were able to get into a conference that I think solidified us on the national platform. It gave us television revenues that we'd never seen before. But most importantly, it gave us television exposures that we had never seen before. And I really owe a debt of gratitude to Mike Tranghese and the job he did there. Those were 8 wonderful years in that conference, and we'll have nothing but great, great things to say about that league. And then I also want to embrace the league that we're going into for this 1 year, the American Athletic Conference. You know, they've been dealt a tough hand. I don't think any of us would have wanted that to happen, and nobody really foresaw it happening the way it did. But I know Mike Oresco, the new commissioner who came from CBS, was a vice president at CBS. I talked to him yesterday afternoon again, and I talked to him this morning. He's a guy that's holding his head high, and I just want to make sure that we handle it as an athletic department and as a university with class, and that we always take the high road. Because if we didn't have this league, we got to remember one thing: we would have nowhere to play. because we don't go into the ACC until Maryland leaves. We're taking Maryland's place. We're not just being added to the ACC. So right now, Maryland's in no great hurry to leave with that $50 million penalty over their head. So we got to have some things worked out for us. So it's great to have a home like the American Conference and having them embrace us the way that they have. You know, it's been fun to look back and to kind of think about what has gone on the last 16 years and how so many people really bought into what we were trying to get accomplished. And the only thing I really wanted to do here was do it the right way. I wanted to make sure that we assembled great people. I wanted to make sure that anybody that I hired had the exact same passion that I did for the job. I'm not a big believer in resumes. I'm not a big believer in job interviews. What I am a big believer in is if you're coming to take a job at the University of Louisville, you're at the wrong place. And I'm speaking from the athletic department. If you're going to work in our athletic department, it better not be a job, because if you're coming to work 8 to 5, it's not going to happen. You know, our hours are crazy. Our people have got to have that passion, and I want the people that join us to live that passion. I really, truly think for the great, great majority, we have that type of group. People that will go to the end of the earth to try to make things happen for the entire good of the university. And I think that's special when you see that. When people can put their egos and check their pride at the door and don't worry about self-accomplishment, but really look at what happens for the entire university and what makes the university run. That's what I'm a big believer in, and I think we've got some great, great people. I mean, you look across the board at the coaches we have, whether you look at an Ann Cordes or a Mark Crabtree, a Courtney Trimble, Arthur Albiero, the job he's done with that swimming program, Rick Pitino, what he's done with that men's basketball team, Jeff Walls, what he's done with the women's team. 2 times in the last 6 years he's been in the national championship game. Greatest upset of all time in women's basketball, they say, was against Baylor. Then they come back and beat Tennessee the next night, where everybody said what a great upset that was. And I can't believe that, because I was at that game, and the only upset of that game is we didn't win by 30. We only won by 10 because he dominated them so well. Dan McDonald going to his 2nd College World Series in 7 years. You know, to have the NCAA call you, and when we went to the College World Series, and say, you're the first school to ever do this, that was pretty special. But as we said to President Emmert, we might be the first school that's ever done it, but we want to figure out how to be the first school to do it again and again and again. And that's what it's like. People say, what is it like to be with the Year of the Cardinals? I don't focus in on the Year of the Cardinal. What I want is the years of the Cardinals. Now, will we ever reach these heights again? Maybe not. But I think that's the goals that we've got to keep in place, and we've got to keep pushing. From an academic standpoint, I think the sky is the limit to what's going to happen athletically and academically on the campus with the ACC. It opens so many doors, and it's kind of like that Jefferson's program, if you remember it. You know, we're moving on up. I mean, we hit the right neighborhood, and there's no question about that, and I'm so excited. The commissioner that they have in John Swafford, it's unbelievable, the leadership that he provides to the ACC. The league is solidified with the grant of rights that every school had to sign over, so I don't think anybody's going to be going anywhere. So, you know, I thank you so much for having me. It's an unbelievable honor and privilege to be in front of you, and I can reach out to almost each and every one of you and just say thank you, because you've touched our program in so many different ways.